Give me like 1 minute and then you can start. I'm going to do the pre-prayer in the back. Sounds good.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name is Kelly Bumgarner, and I'm a member of our board here at CNT. I'd like to welcome everyone and just make a few quick announcements before we get started this evening. If you haven't yet gotten to know Rabbi Olshine, please join us this Tuesday, August 5th at 7 p.m. for a Zoom-based meet and greet. You can ask questions and get answers about Rabbi Olshine and her new expanded role at CNT. We have a lot of really exciting Shabbat services coming up this month, so please be sure to join us August 8th at 7 p.m. for Shabbat services featuring guest cantorial soloist Allison Weiss, also to celebrate August birthday blessings, followed by in-person Torah study and Shabbat minyan service August 9th at 8:45 and 10 a.m. respectively. The following week, August 15th at 7, join us for prospective member Shabbat services, followed by an ice cream oneg. The week after that, August 29th, 6:15, so an earlier service, will be our greatest hits and back to shul Shabbat with the fabulous Shabbatones. That's always a busy one, so you want to be on the earlier side if you'll be attending. And finally, August 29th, 7 p.m., prospective members Shabbat in the round. We invite you to bring a friend and enjoy the fun. Calling all religious school families, religious school open house / back to shul fair will be August 10th, which is a Sunday at 11 a.m. Come by, meet your teacher for the year, and nosh. We can't wait to see you there. CNT's Film Havara will present a family-friendly screening Tuesday, August 12th at 5:30 p.m. of the movie How to Train Your Dragon. So be sure to stop by for a movie night that's fun for the whole family. For more information on anything I mentioned or just the full slate of events, if you'd like to RSVP, or for more information in general, please visit the calendar page on our temple website. Shabbat Shalom.
chesed yibaneh.
Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai.
I will build this world.
I will build this world from love. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai.
And you must build.
You must build this world from love. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai.
And if we build,
And if we build this world from love, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai,
then God will build.
then God will build this world from love. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so good to be back in this room. We had our Beit Tefillah in good use the last 4 weeks of July, our quiet months here in Henderson. And now we are starting to hopefully fill back up as we approach the new school year and the High Holy Days. And I'm very grateful to my clergy partner because it allowed me to take a little respite from the lake to the ocean. I went from the Ozarks to the Pacific Ocean. It was just what every Las Vegas girl needs. So I'm glad to be back and had 2 nice reflective Shabbats with my family. And really happy to be here. And I'm also kind of like, I consider myself also from the South Bay in, it's like in LA County, if you're not familiar with it. I had my student pulpit in Redondo Beach, and one of my mentors, Rabbi Cantor Sam Radwine, is also here with us. He's a VIP, and he's going to be a Jew in the pew tonight, but just so you know that there are VIPs among us. He's also the cantorial dean of the rabbinic and cantorial school that I attended, and a teacher and also a friend of Rabbi Lee Olshine. I'm going to get that right eventually with the Lee part. Okay.
He was my synagogue music teacher. One of my music classes in rabbinical school as well.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of a South Bay contingency tonight. It's like there's a few people in here that are like, yeah, I'm from the South Bay, or I worked in the South Bay. So I'm pretending I'm at the beach right now instead of walking outside in 100 and something degrees. I know you're not from there anymore, but that's how I always will remember you, recall you. So we're grateful to have you, and it's always nice to have our colleagues here to celebrate Shabbat with us. We're grateful to have all of you, whether you're here to celebrate Shabbat or also to say Kaddish or whatever your reason is that brings you here tonight. Maybe you're visiting. We're happy to have you. We want to get to know you during the Oneg, so please stick around for that. And I think it's time that we bring in the light of Shabbat. All right. Do we know who's leading the candle lighting? Oh, fantastic. Love that. Great. Okay, so why don't we bring up, let's see. I'm going to bring up our guest and her mom tonight. So we have our guest speaker, Jolie Brislin, and her mom, Maxine Rothman, who are going to light our Shabbat candles for us. You know it's still summer break when they can't find someone to light the candles before we get to Friday night services.
It says rabbis to choose, is what it says here. Page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu are actually turning to page 142 in our prayer books this evening, page 142, where we'll find Shalom Aleichem. Now, Shalom Aleichem, many of you know, is actually not a traditional part of the Kabbalat Shabbat service. We have been focusing on that liturgy for the last couple of weeks. And we decided to go back to Shalom Aleichem because it's all about bringing the angels into our hearts and our homes every Shabbat, traditionally sung at the table. And this week we are doing a melody that I think people are familiar with on page 142. And that is a melody by the late Debbie Friedman. And this was actually the last composition that she finished before she passed away. So please join us as we sing Shalom Aleichem. If you're not familiar with it the first time, by the second chorus and the third chorus and the fourth chorus, you'll know it. So please do join us, page 142. Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mo'echem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni, bless me. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Say it, Chem. Say it, Chem, leShalom, Malachei As we turn to page 146 in our prayer books, we rise to answer the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. We rise in body or in spirit. We're going to invite you to be seated for a moment.
So as we prepare for our High Holy Day season and just get into the groove of sharing this bima together, we're kind of playing around with different ways that we give you the message of the evening. So I know this seems like a weird spot to have a little discussion, but we're going to call this a little iyun/sermonette, and the grand speaker will be with us during our sermon spot. So as I mentioned, later in our service, we'll hear from a VIP in our community, Jolie Brislin, the director of the ADL Nevada and Arizona. She gets to fight hate every single day. And sometimes we joke together that we're broken from carrying the weight, like when we accidentally read words like hummus as Hamas. It's a coping mechanism for a harsh reality. What we're facing right now is no laughing matter. Jolie has been experiencing firsthand the gateway of anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism, or maybe they're the same thing. We'll hear that later. But personally and professionally, she is going to share her expertise with us. As we approach our next part of our prayers, calling us to listen, I wanted to share a piece of that story, of my story, with you. So no matter where you stand on the politics of Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, we are all familiar with the slippery slope when anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism are one. Anti-Zionism often masks a deeper, insidious anti-Semitism, an excuse to be openly anti-Jewish, let's say. So what happens when someone who you once called a friend becomes a megaphone of hate? We know the answer all too well. I'm sure I'm not the only person in this room who has lost a friend to anti-Semitism, especially in these last almost 700 days. About a decade ago, Rabbi Axelrod introduced me to the Interfaith Council of Southern Nevada. I met people from multitudes of faith traditions, some Abrahamic, some polytheistic, some I had never heard of. One of the people I immediately befriended was of the Sikh tradition. He was full of peace and understanding, devoted to serving God and the world. He and his family were lovely and made me feel truly welcome in this community. And while I have friends of various faith traditions, I do tend to gravitate towards other Jewish people. There's something comfortable about being around those like-minded people, but with him, our differences became our similarities. I felt comfortable confiding in him. After October 7th, all of that changed. He did reach out with a vague condolence about the atrocities, and yes, if you're wondering, we did reach out after the 2023 attack on the Sikh community. So soon after, he began posting and reposting anti-Zionist propaganda. It wasn't just like here and there, it was constant, incessant, and seemingly nonstop posts. Whereas most of us post a few times a week, at most twice a day, he was posting every few minutes. I silenced his posts, blew it off as his naivety about the state of Israel. I was already overwhelmed with the hate all around me on this topic. And then several weeks ago, someone mentioned how anti-Semitic his posts had become. Upset by this assertion, I began to glance at those recent posts. There were no words for how deeply my heart sank. And more problematic than the outward anti-Semitism was how outlandish and blatantly false his anti-Israel, anti-Jewish propaganda was. I'm hesitant to pick fights in the public sphere of social media. It never really serves any kind of purpose, and pretty much always comes across as trolling with no good outcome. But when he posted that Ethiopian refugees to Israel were sterilized as part of their asylum because Israel didn't want to see a rise in black people in the country, I had to set the record straight. People were reading what he wrote. So I clarified in Operation Sor Yisrael, which he is referring to, Ethiopian women were given something called provera against their consent. And that is shameful, no doubt. They didn't give their consent. And also, they were not sterilized. They were unable to become pregnant for a duration of 3 months during their resettling. And of course, a woman should always give, any person should give consent for their body. And that is a shameful move on the part of the Israeli government. But Israel is a melting pot of people, and there is no such thing as an Israel that doesn't want to see that continue. He posted an article supporting my point, which confused me, and then accused me of spreading lies about Israel. It was gaslighting. And again, one can't have a meaningful conversation when this is taking place. So I receded from the conversation, re-silenced him on my social media, but I heard that he kept attacking me, my husband Jeremy, Jolie, even some of you who attempted to right the wrongs. It was a classic, if I yell the loudest, I'm going to win the conversation. It's immature, it gets us nowhere, and really, it just reflects the level of anti-Semitism in his heart. When I joined the ADL's leadership course many years ago, Glass Class, I believed that hatred stemmed from naivety or misunderstanding, and I still do, if people want to see clearly and remove the blindfold of hate. This man has a cheering section, anti-Semites who are filled with comments with support for his hate. No doubt it is driving him to want to see the other side, not to want to see the other side of his misinformation. But is he a lost cause? I don't know. The psalmist writes, Mi ha'ish hehafetz hayim, ohev yamim lir'ot tov. Who is the person who desires life, who loves days to see goodness? Even in a time when goodness feels buried beneath distortion and hate, we are the people who seek it out, who protect it, who insist on it. There are voices that try to drown ours out, but the Jewish voice is not easily silenced. It's being carried through the wilderness and exile, through pogrom and protest, through grief and defiance, and now it is carried by us. We won't let lies define our truth. We're here not because the world was kind, but because we've committed to surviving and building dignity for all. And so as we prepare to recite Shema, it's not because the world always listens, but because we still do. We say it to proclaim that even in heartbreak, even in betrayal, we remain in relationship with God, with truth, with each other. Shema Yisrael is not just a declaration of faith. It is a protest against erasure. It is a whisper that roars across history. We are still here. And so I am very delighted to call up Emmett's good friend Mimi, who has asked to lead the Shema for us tonight, proof that the future is right here, not just at Congregation near Tamid, the Jewish future is alive and well for all of us, L'dor v'dor, from generation to generation.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto,
If you're wondering, Mimi starts kindergarten here at Congregation Near to Meet on Wednesday, and it is our inaugural kindergarten class, the Maccabee Academy. So, mazel tov to Mimi and Etta, who is going into 5th grade. I should have kept you up here for Ve'ahavta, Marietta. All right, we turn to page 154 and continue our words of love.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim leloechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Umalchuto b'ratzon kibelu aleihem, Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira, b'simcha rabah ve'amru chulam.
We celebrate the miracle on page 158.
Ba'elim Adonai, mi kamacha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamacha ba'elim יפאר אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Let there be peace, love, understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
In our prayer books, we now turn over to page 164, where we find this piece from Psalm 51, asking God to open up our lips so our mouths can declare God's praise. In the hardest of weeks, in the hardest of times, sometimes it is difficult. It's hard for each of us to remember, to overcome those feelings of sadness, hardness, being closed off. And yet, the Amidah reminds us that we have so much to be thankful for. The 7 themes of the Amidah for the Shabbat remind us of, well, the holiness of the day, our holy relationship with God, talks of just expressing thanksgiving, and it includes our prayer for peace. Let us rise in body or in spirit as we begin on page 166 and then continue on even-numbered pages.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'konei hakol, ve'zocher chastei avot ve'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, lema'an shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom, Yehalelucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue in our own private prayer, using the words on the right or the left side of the page, or the words within our hearts. If you're following with the words on the page, we go all the way to page 181. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. If you're joining us on the live stream, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom, and we invite you at this time to submit the names of the people that you are thinking of for healing prayers into our chat at this time. Submitted to our office this week, we asked for healing prayers for Michael Unger, Marlene Acosta, Martin Chiller, Tracy Gutschettel, Ed Cranson, Rona Mendelson, Chuck Johnson, Maya Downs, Daniel Dodd, Nora Seltzer, Shelley Wara, Logan Knapp and family, Shoshana Ham, Jarrett Goldberg, Anthony Sains, Fred Oppenheimer, Carolyn Friedner, all of our family and friends in Medinat Yisrael and around the world in need of healing prayers. If there are people you are thinking of for healing prayers, I invite you at this time to rise and say their names.
We have no names on the Facebook chat.
Karen Beth, Zara Leah, Arlene Kesselhout, Martin Kesselhout. It is our custom here. If you feel comfortable doing so, we invite you to rise and put your arm around the person next to you so that we can all say healing prayers for all of those named and all of those who have no one to name them. All right, so I gave an amazing lead up, and you've been sitting here ready to hear from Jolie all of these 15 minutes. And maybe it was more, I lose track of time on the Bima, but we're very excited to have her here to share with us some very special, important information. Do you want to go from there, or you want to be in the middle? Okay, well, that one's not on either.
All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom. So, as Rabbi, this is so exciting to be able to say. As Rabbi said, I am Jolie Brislin. I am the Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League. I am also a very proud congregant of Near to Meet on the board, so it's always lovely to be able to be here. And this evening, we are going to talk about anti-Zionism. We are going to name it. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And we need to say that clearly. Let me be clear. Criticizing and questioning the Israeli government is not anti-Semitic. Many Israelis do so daily, just like Americans criticize and question our own government. That doesn't make you anti-American. Healthy debate and accountability are essential to democracy, which both America and Israel are. But what we're witnessing now goes far beyond criticism. Anti-Zionism is not a policy disagreement. It is the rejection of Israel's very existence. It is the belief that Jews should be denied the right to self-determination. It is the idea that one Jewish state could be dismantled while dozens of other national identities are left untouched. And in the past 22 months, many of us have shown that we are tired and scared and mad and sad. And I've spoken to so many people in the Jewish community, people who are confused, heartbroken, angry, and disappointed. Some are grappling with Israel's actions, while others, the world's reactions. Many are simply just trying to hold on. We're holding on to love, to grief, to fear, to pride, to disappointment, and to hope. So ask yourself this. Would anyone say, I have nothing against Italians, I just think Italy shouldn't exist? Would someone vandalize a Russian Orthodox church over Putin's actions to Ukraine? Or smash a Panda Express to protest China's human rights abuse? Of course not. Because that wouldn't be political protest. Those would be hate crimes. And we get that. We all understand that. But when you add hate to political protest, when you add hate to political protest, when you cross that line, that is when it becomes anti-Semitism. We recognize that in every other context. No one defaces a Chinese restaurant and calls it diplomacy. No one blames a Syrian-American teenager for Syrians' actions. The difference here is that anti-Semitism isn't some relic of the past. It is a shapeshifter. It spends half of its time hiding in the shadows and the other half popping up when we least expect it. And that's what makes it so dangerous. That is the difference between political protest and anti-Semitism. When Jews are held collectively accountable for the actions of Israel, that is anti-Semitism. When our community is asked to pass a litmus test for inclusion, that is anti-Semitism. And it's not just rhetoric anymore. It's showing up in dangerous and violent ways. So just in the past few months, in Washington, D.C., where 2 Jews were murdered outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum while attending an AJC event, the shooter said, "I did it for Gaza and free, free, free Palestine." And in Boulder, Colorado, at a weekly peaceful rally calling for the release of Israeli hostages, Molotov cocktails were thrown. The attacker was heard shouting, "We have to end Zionist and free Palestine." And tragically, as we all know, another person was killed and 7 others were injured. And right here in Las Vegas, Jewish schools have received bomb threats, synagogues have been targeted, swastikas have been drawn on our doorpost. On college campuses throughout Nevada, Jewish students are told that they can't join social justice spaces unless they denounce Israel. One student found their car vandalized with swastikas and stars of David. Homes have had their mezuzahs ripped off of the doorpost of their homes. Their identities are questioned not because of what they believe, but simply because they are Jewish. And even sports teams locally have quietly pulled out of partnerships with Jewish organizations that support Israel. Not because they disagree with the mission, but simply the fear of, quote, it's too political. The very same teams that proudly support causes for equity and inclusion fall silent when it comes to the Jews. This is not activism. This is not foreign policy. This is anti-Semitism, full stop. And based on ADL's 2024 audit of anti-Semitic incidents, there were 9,354 recorded anti-Semitic incidents across the country. Now, these are not incidents, these are incidents that have been reported, that have been verified, that have been researched, right? We have 50,000 incidents that come in every year, but we have narrowed it down to 9,354 incidents. That translates to more than one incident of anti-Semitism taking place in the United States right now. Let that sink in. And that is the highest number of incidents recorded by the ADL since we started collecting this data since 1979. And what makes it more painful is how it's becoming normalized. Political polarization is making things worse. Some people now oppose Israel just because of who supports it. Others exploit the issue for some political points. But let me be clear. Our safety is not partisan. Jewish dignity is not up for debate. And this normalization is creeping into spaces that once felt safe, especially as you already heard from Rabbi Hutchings within our own interfaith partnerships. Now, I have sat on the Interfaith Council. Rabbi probably brought me in the same time he brought Rabbi in. For over a decade, I have been sitting at this table. And I have poured my heart and my time into building relationships on behalf of the Jewish community that are on mutual respect. And I truly believe that you can't hate someone once you know their story. I believe this so deeply that it's practically my mantra. But since October 7th, I have seen these ideas be put to the test, and many of these relationships have been fractured. There's been silence. And this is the pain that normalization causes. When blatant anti-Semitism is dismissed or explained away, when Jewish trauma is ignored, when people who claim to fight for human rights exclude Jewish lives from that fight. But Judaism teaches us that every human is created in God's image. That means that we can hold complexities. We can hold the both and. We can care deeply about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and demand the return of the hostages. We can support aid for civilians and affirm Israel's right to exist and protect its people. These values are not in conflict, and they are not binary. They come from a shared sense of dignity. So before I tell you what we can do about it, right, leave a little action, I want to share a quick story. So I'm hoping everyone here is familiar with the ADL, but the ADL is an organization that fights anti-Semitism each and every day. And I have people call me and call our office to talk about incidents of hate and when they are facing anti-Semitism. But today I got a different call. Today I got a call from a gentleman I have never met who called me because he said, I just need to apologize. Okay, well, you got my attention. So what do you have to apologize for? And he said, I have been anti-Semitic and I have hated Jews. Okay, well, tell me more. He talked about his friends and his group of circle and how they're white supremacists, how they hate Israel, and how that has transcended since October 7th, where he has posted and he has made statements that he is not proud of. And he wanted to call the ADL because he wanted me to tell all of you how sorry he is. Those are the ways that we can fight anti-Semitism. And that is why it's so important when we think about what can we do to fight anti-Semitism. And anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. So what are a few things that we can walk away with tonight? One, we speak up, even when it's hard. We reject false choices between justice for others and safety for ourselves. We continue to have uncomfortable, nuanced conversations. And what I've heard from many outside of our Jewish community is that they fundamentally don't understand who the Jewish people are. They don't understand our history, our trauma, and our connection to the land of Israel. And sometimes they truly don't understand the harm they're perpetuating. So walk into each conversation trying to educate. And most importantly, we hold on to our Jewish pride. It's okay to be tired. We're tired. And it's okay to take a break from the noise and the headlines. Put down your phone. Make a falafel, bake a challah, dance with your Jewish friends, come to synagogue, send your kids to Sunday school, watch Fiddler on the Roof for the 100th time, and celebrate our Jewish pride. Because the Jewish people have always risen in the face of hate, not with fear, but with courage, with resilience, and with light. Shabbat Shalom.
I want to thank Jolie for being our speaker tonight, and I want to encourage all of you to learn more about ADL if you're not already involved, and it's a great organization to become a part of. You have fans online as well. We're going to turn to page 586 to begin to conclude our service. We'll rise for Aleinu. It's up to us to change the world.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה,
שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. You may be seated as we prepare ourselves for Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 598 in our prayer books. And so we first think of those whose names have been submitted to our office for the period of Shloshim. And if you are with us in our online communities this evening, please add your loved one's name to our Kaddish list as well so they can be remembered. We think of the following individuals for whom this is the first 30 days after their loved one's passing. We remember with love and honor Stephen Schwartz, Norma Friedman, Dean Hewson, Idea Trapletti, Nancy Hardington, Robert Weinstein, Nicole Sachs, Bill Yaffe, Marvin Oderberg, Alda Schuldenfrei, Maxine Schoenwald. We also remember the following individuals for whom this is the anniversary of their passing or their yahrzeit. And so we recall with love and reverence as well Ben Naft, Doris Kolodner, Bessie Freeman, Jeffrey Cohen, Russell Fletcher, Harvey Chernikoff, Jean Lafer, Abraham Kavadlo, Charles Bowker, Marvin Zindler, Arnold Famillion, Evelyn Siegel, Jose Lugo, Vivian Van Dusen, Leo Rakoff, Carolyn DeWald, Phyllis Tuck, Caroline Acosta, Benjamin Kishner, Gladys Pariser, Peggy Titans, Dorothy McDougall, Sidney Wickler, Bernard Adler, Helen Bossack, David Cantor, Carol Spector, Sam Simon, and Alan Brown. If I've inadvertently mispronounced your loved one's name, or perhaps we've accidentally left your loved one off of our list for either the first 30 days or perhaps for the anniversary of your loved one's passing, or if you'd simply like to add a name so that they can be remembered by this community this evening, I invite you to rise and share your loved one's names as my eyes meet yours. And so we remember all of these individuals for the love that they shared. We take them into our hearts with the following individuals from our online community. We are thankful that this week there are no names to be added. We remember all the stories. We remember all of the crazy things they did with us, for us, the lessons they wanted us to learn, the lessons we did not learn. We remember them. We also remember all those for whom there was no one to say Kaddish, and we remember all those who have died as innocents in acts of war and terror throughout the world. If you would like to rise in body or in spirit as we say these words, hallowed by the generations, we continue with Kaddish Yatom, page 598. And so we say, Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Ve'oma divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach leolam ulolmei almaya. Yit barach ve'ish tabach ve'it pa'ar ve'it romam ve'it naseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shmei dekudesha, brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechemata, Da'amiran ve'olma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shamaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all those who are bereaved, both among us and all those who are bereaved throughout the world. And together, let us say, Amen. I'm going to invite you to be seated because there's
Kiddush and Motzi. So I'm going to invite up anyone who in the next couple of weeks or like it's the new school year, fall is starting, if you are starting school. So that can be for little to big, it doesn't matter. If you're starting a new school year, I'd like you to come on up for Kiddush and Motzi.
We got some teachers here. They're starting a new year.
Yeah,
Could we
yeah,
invite
yeah.
a teacher up?
I said starting a new school year, yeah.
George, are you starting a new school year? Yeah.
As they're making their way up, we want to thank our beautiful accompanists. So we have John Henderson and Eddie Birch. We're so happy to have you back from vacation, safe and sound. And we really want to thank Barbara Siegel for the wonderful music that she's provided in the month of July. And I want to thank my clergy partner, Rabbi Olshine. I want to thank Alex Hill, who set us up on our sound. I want to thank our amazing guest, Jolie Brislin. And I also just want to give one more shout out to Rabbi Cantor Sam Radwine. You may notice I also said Rabbi Cantor, much like my title. He is one of the people who inspired me to add this to my journey and was one of my teachers. And I have to admit, I'm never nervous on this bima anymore. I'm a little nervous tonight. It's like a colloquium, like your teacher's watching you. Don't mess up. Don't mess up. So I kept going back to a different congregation near Tamid in Rancho Palos Verdes, where Rabbi Cantor Radwine and I coached together and on a Yiddish piece, and I was messing up all over the place. And I thought, okay, well, Lador Vador, he taught me, pass it down, hopefully I'm doing an okay job. So I want to thank you for being here. It's always an honor. And you will get to hear his beautiful voice and his beautiful words on December 12th for my installation as the rabbi of this congregation. So hopefully you wrote that down, because I did tell you. Okay, just making sure. So he'll be a mystery tonight, but later you'll get to hear. So thank you, and I want to thank Leslie, who's on staff tonight, and our ushers, and all of our volunteers, and Alana, who is setting up our oneg, which will be out in the lobby. As I mentioned, I see a lot of new faces tonight, a lot of returning faces. We want to talk to you. We want you to talk to each other. This is an audaciously hospitable community. Please do reach out and get to know someone you might not know very well. All right, Kiddush and Motzi. Oh, I guess we should give this to Mimi. She should get like another chance at it.
Mimi, do you want to lead us in the Kiddush? No. Marietta, do you want to do it? Yeah, Marietta. Okay. Raise it high. Mimi, raise it up high. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Amen.
L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
B'teyavon. Thank you all for coming up. Yeah, thank you.
That piece of challah is bigger than Mimi's head.
I'll be away the next 2 weeks at my happy place, Chautauqua Institution. Rabbi Cantor got to go away to her happy places, and I will be in upstate New York, but I will see some of you online, I hope, for just a gathering where it's an Ask Me Anything, but it's really an Ask Me Almost Anything on Tuesday night. So sign up, get the Zoom link. I'll be in Chautauqua doing it from there, and I'll be working from Chautauqua. by the lake.
And I think that Kelly mentioned it in announcements, but next week we have a guest, cantorial soloist Allison Weiss will be here for an interview weekend. So we hope that you'll come to both Friday night services and Saturday morning Torah study and Shacharit Shabbat morning services. And then the following week we have a special Shabbat from Broadway to the Bima with Jeff Lebo, who many of us know, who was in Jersey Boys on Broadway here in Las Vegas. He played Nick many years ago, but he's still got that beautiful voice, and so we're going to do a little duet on the Bima for that Friday after that. And then the one that you've been waiting for all year long, since the last time we did it, we have our greatest hits Shabbat with the Shabbatones. It's a transformed Bima, light sound action with our 10-piece Shabbat band, and it will be a rockin' good time. So
We're going to have fun.
those next few, and then Shabbat in the round. So literally there's not a Shabbat you can miss in August. Sorry about that. We are going to close with the song we opened with, May We Fill This World with Love.
Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai.
We'll meet you at the exit.
I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. Then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai.
Shabbat shalom. 2 weeks. I'll be back. Just 2 weeks away. Just 2 weeks. I'll be back. Thank you. Yes, please. I'll be out there in a minute. Hi. Can I get a hug? My favorite beach.
Nice service.
All right. How you doing?
I'll see you tomorrow at the pool party, right? Okay. Having a kindergarten pool party.
Hi, bye. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I see you over there with a little dessert in a second.
You do what you say.
Well, thank you.
Shabbat shalom. So you're leaving when?
I leave the plane takes off at 7:30, so I gotta sleep.
Enjoy the mosquitoes of New York.
Oh no! Look, I have the mosquitoes here.
Oh, here
Can
too?
you see that?
Yeah, oh my God.
I've been bitten up.
Type O blood, huh?
I am.
I know.
Yeah, I am. They love me.
You like candy.
I'm like, Shabbat shalom. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Shabbat.